Hello and welcome ATG. This is Dr. J here at Ask the Gynecologist, and I want to say good evening to everyone and thank you so much for following us. First of all, I want to say happy Easter to you, and I want to wish you the best of this season, and I pray that God Almighty will continue to bless you and your family, continue to enrich your family, enrich you in everything you do. So if you are free, join me tonight and let's have a quick discussion. Once again, my name is Dr. Babajide Alalade, Dr. J at Ask the Gynecologist. And if you're watching me live on Instagram, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. We really appreciate you and thank you for making it happen. And if you're watching on YouTube as well, welcome. And if you're on Facebook, my favorite, and thank you so much. And tonight, this evening, I'll be talking about when we scan for baby's abnormality, what are we looking for and how do we detect abnormalities in babies during pregnancy before they are born? So if you're free, join me, get set, and let's start talking shortly. I'm hoping my audio is good. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know. If my audio is not good, let me know as well. This is Dr. J. Most of you all, obviously, you've seen the poster, the beautiful poster, and inside the laboratory, which we've constructed at Ask the Gynecologist to ensure that you're able to get appropriate results that are verifiable, reliable for you yourself, for your family. If you're going through infertility and stuff like that, you can walk into ATG laboratories and you can get your test done at affordable price at any standard in the world, and you can get your results which are reliable, which could give you clues to what could be wrong, whether with your husband, yourself, or even give you an obvious fact that there's nothing wrong. You can do all these tests now at Ask the Gynecologist, and also the IVF section is almost ready. Like I promised, by the grace of God, we'll be starting June, July this year. So the IVF section is ready. If you've been flying across that route, the Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, you will have seen Ask the Gynecologist logo, and you'll have seen a new addition to that, the ATG IVF Center. And that center is going to open June, July this year, and we're going to start. I want to say something. The prices will be affordable, and to ensure that you're not too late, tomorrow morning, call the laboratories and put your name down on the waiting list for the IVF if that's what you need. Put your name down on the IVF section, okay? And then once we are ready, you'll be the first person to call so that we can get people pregnant as soon as possible. So here on Facebook here, I've got Abigail Tilola Agbaoye, Juliet Okafo Meje, Mildred Wukari, Blessing Emeka, James Ojene Olobo, Napenga Egbe Kojo, Christabel Oduku Nandi, Patience Charles Kwache, Abigail Tilola Agbaoye, Onye Anegbo Chibuzo, Chiamaka Linus, Christabel Nandi, Patience Kwache, Ada Ngajuku, and Victoria Tolton. And I've got everybody here on this page. And thank you, Teresa Oluwakemi, Laura Joseph, and Kwamboka Obara. Thank you guys for being here. If I've mispronounced your name, please apologies for that. Or if I've probably omitted your name, please apologies as well. Once again, I want to introduce myself, Dr. J at Ask the Gynecologist. And if you're watching on Instagram here, I want to say welcome tonight to this edition and to this show. I've been obviously busy all weekend. I couldn't come up live because sometimes too I gotta work, and whenever I'm working on call, I can't go live because I have to put my mind in one place. So I couldn't come up live over the weekend. And I'm sure you've had so many things to read about breastfeeding, about how to improve your sex life. So I want to tell you something, okay? Last week, I made obvious repeated mention about Kegel exercises. Kegel exercises is not only for ladies. If you're a guy listening to me, if you're a woman listening to me, Kegel exercises is not only for ladies. It's for ladies, it's for men, and it's very, very, very effective for men in reducing premature ejaculation. It's a secret. It's a secret. If you're battling with premature ejaculation, one of the easiest way to overcome it without medication, okay, is to do Kegel exercises as a guy. And if you've missed that video, go to our YouTube channel. I think it's the number 1 or number 2 video at the top. Watch that video about Kegel exercises, okay? And your life would never be the same. If you understand how to do Kegel exercises as a man, as a woman, you will notice tremendous change in your sexual life. You start playing the ball like C. Ronaldo. You start playing the ball like what? Like C. Ronaldo, like Messi. You'll be rolling the ball like Messi. So it's a very, very good thing for you to go and watch that video about Kegel exercises. I can see my sister, beautiful sister Cecil James, and Jennifer Chika. Okay, thank you guys. So tonight I'll be talking about that scan that we call and we do to detect abnormalities in your babies. Abnormalities in the babies. Okay, you're wondering, why are we doing this scan? Okay, I'm going to tell you today, and the things you're supposed to be looking for in that scan to detect abnormalities in your babies. There are many scans you can do throughout pregnancy. Akimbo BC Tewitokajayi, my darling, God bless you. There are many scans you can do. If you have questions, just hold on. After I finished my talk, let's start taking questions then. But for now, let me talk for about 10-20 minutes. Okay, and then we'll start taking questions. Okay, and I'll take them clearly, simply, and I'll dissect them. I'm fine, my sister Akimbo BC Tewitokajayi, thank you, and Afelisi Victoria Olorundare Simeon, thank you. Now, there are many scans you can do throughout pregnancy. Okay, many scans. But I'll talk about the most important scans that you must do. And I'll come down and discuss that particular scan you should do to detect abnormalities in your babies before they are born. Okay, and what you can do and how they can be done. Okay, now, the number one scan you can do in pregnancy, maybe you've been trying for IVF, going for IVF before, you have ovarian cysts before, you're not even sure of your date, you've had a previous ectopic pregnancy, previous miscarriage. Usually you do a scan around 6-7 weeks. Okay, if you do a scan earlier than 6-7 weeks, you probably not see nothing much. If you do a scan at 5 weeks, you see a sac and on scan is very tiny, you're not sure, but a scan that will be reliable to give you, show you that the baby's heart is beating, baby's in the womb, is in the sac, it's okay. It will be a scan usually at 6 to 7 weeks. If you do a scan before then, you might not see much. Okay, so it's go for scan around 6 to 7 weeks. That is a scan just to reassure you. I call it a reassurance scan, or what we call viability scan, to say your pregnancy is in the womb, it's okay. No scan in the world will show that pregnancy at 1 week or 2 days or 3 days. It's not possible. It's too minute. It's not going to show. Even the scan we do at 6 weeks only show pregnancy that is as tiny as this, as tiny as like that. The scan will pick it up. But at 3 days, 1 week, no scan will show. But if you go and do a test of pregnancy, at around maybe 2 weeks after your last expected period, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after missing your period, you're going to get a positive test. Urine or blood. Let's leave that aside. But scan, scan basically will show you pregnancy reliably at around 6 to 7 weeks without doubt. All things being equal. That is your viability scan. It's nothing more than that. It won't give you your expected due date. Once you get to 12 weeks, before 13 weeks, okay, but around 12 weeks, go for your dating scan. That's the number 2 scan, dating scan. Dating scan is called dating scan for a specific reason, because it's very, very much easier to detect and to determine your due date with that your dating scan. Okay, so that dating scan you do around 12 weeks, okay, before 13 weeks, will give us almost the date of your expected delivery, confinement. In America, they call it expected date of confinement. In UK, we call it EDD, expected date of delivery. It's the same thing. Due date, case closed. So your due date will be given to you on your 12-week scan. Pregnancy test will show you test of pregnancy around a week to 2 after missing your period. 3 days is not going to show anything. So stop. If you plant seed in the ground, you have to wait for it to germinate. Some people, they want to go and check that the seed is growing under the soil. Leave the seed, let the seed grow, okay? And let the farmer do his business, let God do his business. Once you plant a seed, you leave it there. Once it's ready to grow, it will grow out of the ground and you see the seed So don't go and start tampering with the seed. We humans, is as if we want our baby that some people want to get sex today and they want to baby to start school tomorrow. Take it easy now. Babies must grow. In fact, if you have a baby today and the baby is talking, won't you run away? You say this baby is a bandit. So chill. Let the baby grow. In their time, they will do and achieve their developmental milestones at the expected time. Don't try to give your baby 4 promotions in one day. Okay? So just hold on. So your 12-week scan is your dating scan. On that dating scan, we'll give you your due date. And once we give you your due date, we don't change it. Nobody will go and remove the goalpost when the football match is being played. When Ronaldo is about to score his goal, you don't go and change the goalpost now. The goalpost must be fixed before the match starts. So on your 12-week scan, we give you your due date. We don't change it. Don't change it, okay? We don't change it. Some people go and do scan at 30 weeks. They say, my doctor said that my baby is weighing so and so weight, and that corresponds to 29 weeks. That means that my due date will change. No, we don't change due date. But if your baby is weighing consistently out of the normal range, plus or minus 2 weeks either side, we might change dates. But it's very, very rare. And that must be only changed by a properly certified professional. Okay? Usually a consultant in that unit that you are being looked after. But once we give you a due date, with due dates, okay, we don't change it. Don't go and get a scan at 35 weeks. They now say, your baby is weighing about 37 weeks when it's supposed to be weighing for around 35 weeks. So we have to change your date. Don't panic. What you should do is you go for a repeat scan. I'll get to those ones anyway. But number 3 scan that I'm focusing today on is what we call anomaly scan, or scans to detect abnormality in your baby. And that is the chief discussion tonight, this evening. Abnormality scans. That scan must be done. If you are pregnant, okay, you must get scanned to check for any abnormality in your baby at exactly 18 to 22 weeks. Don't let it go beyond 22 weeks. You must get your anomaly scan, and it must be done for every baby. But some babies actually need it more than others. Chichi Lovett Egbujo, I've answered your question, okay? If you think you had sex, okay, give your body time to show test positive or negative. 3 days is too early, okay? Give it 3 to 4 weeks, okay? 3 weeks is okay, okay? Beyond that, before that, don't waste your money and don't give yourself anxiety and hypertension. You can't have sex today and expect your test to be positive in 3 days' time. It's not possible now. This is not, it's not an engine now. Okay? It must take about 3 to 4 weeks. Usually 3 weeks to show. Some tests are so good, they will show it within 1 to 2 weeks. But without confusion, go and do your test of pregnancy 3 weeks after you're around your date of ovulation. Okay? And you see what is answer. And it will be open there. Because the test of pregnancy a week or 2 before does not make it change or better. So give it time, my sister Chichi Lovett, okay? And do a test of pregnancy 2 weeks after your date of expected ovulation. Okay? Thank you. Let us go back to our anomaly scan. There's a reason why I'm hammering on this point today, that for questions, wait until I finish my talking. Okay? Some people, they don't want to listen. You see, this is that we preach, this gospel we preach every day is for a specific reason. If you listen to these things we give you for free, okay? Some people go and pay for these things in hospitals, okay? They even wait to see the doctor and wait, and they get these things and they'll pay for it. But I'm giving out to you free of charge. You don't want to hear. If you hear these things, you'll probably not be asking your questions again and again and again. So this is the gospel of gynecology, gospel of antenatal for free, okay? But listen. If you don't listen, you're not going to understand it. For question issue, I'll swipe up the comment section. Once I finish talking, I'll open up the comment section again, because some people don't want to hear and they will not listen to what and the instruction. By the way, too, we've started a new group now called ATG Men's Council, and that Men's Council is one of the best. See, I love women so much, and I love men too. I'm a man. I'm a man too, but I was born of a woman too. I love women and I love men. Men. ATG men's group, no bows goes bow. They listen, and they pay attention. You tell the men, do Kegel exercises. They do the Kegel, sharp. You tell the men, kekele will make you have overcome premature ejaculation. They will do it too. They won't even ask any question. No bars. But our ladies, they start asking questions. Is this one? Is this one? But I love the men. They just take it like this, Mr. Macaroni style. Correct. Okay, now let's go back to our discussion about this anomaly scan. Now, when you hear anomaly scan at between 18 and 20 weeks, it must be done before 22 weeks. It is for a reason. The reason is that most of the organs in that baby has been formed or the foundations laid at around 18 to 22 weeks. In most cases, in most units, you do your anomaly scan around 20 weeks. We're checking systematically for the organs in that baby to ensure that there's no abnormal formation or defect or damages or abnormality in any part of the baby. And there are specific things we check for. Number one, we check the brain. The brain has 3 parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. We check that every part of the brain is well formed, that there's no defect or damages or missing pieces or missing piece in the puzzle. As the baby is growing, different cells are being arranged, differentiated, moving and to forming different things. From 2 cells becomes many cells. Some cells will be the bone, some cells will be the eyes, some cells will be the teeth, mouth, and lungs and everything. So different cells are being differentiated and told to go where they're supposed to go. Along the line, some could miss their road. They'll be realigned and told where to go so that they won't miss their road. Some will entirely miss the road and there'll be abnormalities in the baby. The purpose of this scan, abnormality scan, is to detect such. We check the brain, that the brain cell, the brain tissue is well formed. It's critical, it's important. We check the face. We're checking for cleft lip. That is to say, some babies, they have hole in their mouth there, and they can't suck well. We want to detect such. This is repairable once baby is born, but we want to detect it. We want to check the esophagus, the lungs, the heart. We want to look into the heart to ensure that all the chambers in the heart is well formed. We want to check the kidneys, that the kidneys are well formed and that they're not defective and they are too complete. We want to check the lung bones, okay? All these bones, the humerus, that is to say, so that you won't miss and say a baby is a dwarf. There's nothing wrong with being dwarf, but I'm saying at least we can detect. We check the bones in the hands, We check the long bones, the one in the femur, in the thigh. We check the vertebra, that is to say there's no defect there. What we call neural tube defect. Remember, we tell you all the time to take folic acid. The purpose of folic acid is to pick up any defect in the neural tissues in the spine. The purpose of folic acid is to prevent neural tube defect in the spine. You see, if we do scan to check for neural tube defects in your spine, the chances of detecting abnormalities almost close as 92%. So that scan must be done. And if it is, we can easily repair such defects once baby are born. Okay? Sometimes too, we can detect issues like suspicion of Down syndrome by checking the thickness of the neck. And if we have all these things and if we see too many abnormalities together and there are so many abnormalities everywhere, that could be a sign that there could be chromosomal problems. Okay? And in such cases, we might need to even repeat your scan and get another professional to confirm what that initial ultrasonographer has discovered. Sometimes too, we might need to do some other tests, conclusive tests, to give us an idea if indeed what we suspect is there. If indeed there's an abnormality. It's very, very not nice for you to carry pregnancy 9 months and then produce the baby and the baby has fault. These things can be known, can be prevented, and can be prepared for if we find them. The thing is that if this kind of stuff happens, people start thinking it's one Agege or witch or Banje that is causing problems for them. But if people follow and listen to facts like this, maybe these things can be detected, treated, and planned for as soon as possible. Sometimes too, when we do all these scans, okay, sometimes we detect problems, and we need to carry you along to know what we found and what should be done in terms of what we've seen. So it's not just doing the scan, it's to be able to explain to you what we found and what we need to do about the things we've seen. But most importantly too, scan cannot pick up everything. For example, scan only picks up 50% of defects in the heart. The heart is a structure that has 4 different chambers, and all these 4 chambers must be definitely identified on scan, this abnormality scan. And sometimes half of cases like that can be missed. If there's any suspicion of any abnormality or defect in that baby's heart, it could be beneficial for another person to rescan the baby to check that there's nothing wrong. These things are very important. Okay, I know people are listening to me, they want to get pregnant first, but they say, I don't care about what he's saying. But if you get pregnant, you want to ensure that your pregnancy goes smoothly and that you know and you prepare for things that may be there. Now, that is number 3 scan. Number 4 scan is what we call the growth scan. Your baby's growth scan commences after about 26 weeks and above. Any scan you do 26 weeks and above is growth scan. And the purpose of growth scan is to check that baby is growing well. Okay, so sometimes we might do growth scan for you every 3 weeks, sometimes every 4 weeks, sometimes maybe every 5 weeks if there's no problem. If you've had previous babies that are very small, what we call IUGR, intrauterine growth retardation, that is to say your baby is smaller than expected in your previous pregnancies, we might consider offering you regular scans every 3 weeks. Sometimes if you're diabetic too, if you're diabetic in pregnancy, we might do your growth scan every 2 weeks to check that baby is growing well. It's important. Or even every 33 weeks if you're diabetic, and if you've got issue of blood pressure problems in your last pregnancy and baby is not growing well, we might even scan you every 33 weeks. So all those that will determine your interval for scan will be dependent on what your risk factors are. Diabetes, blood pressure problems, previous small baby, previous difficulty with delivery, previous multiple C-section, that person's overweight and all that. People that are diabetic, okay, they are known that their baby are at increased risk of having developmental problems in their body organs before they are born. So if you're diabetic in your previous pregnancy or you've been identified diabetic in this current your pregnancy, you must ensure that you get an anomaly scan so we can detect any abnormalities on your baby. Sometimes, if some people say, but I don't care, even if there's abnormality, I won't do anything, I'm happy with the baby. If that's the case, then it's something you might not want to do, or you might still do just to know what is there. Okay, some people, they'll know that there's something wrong, but they're happy with it, they're happy to cope with it. It can happen. If that's your case, that's fine. If that's your case, that's fine. But at least go for it to know, because sometimes too, we might detect other things that are incompatible with life, and that will give you a bit of information to be able to prepare and to know what to expect. So now I know that most scan people in Lagos or somewhere like that, they don't do anomaly scan, but some labs do anomaly scan. If your scan center is not doing that, then go to one that they can do such. Okay, it's important. It's paramount. It's not a joke. Now I'm going to switch on now, start taking questions because people are asking questions already. Okay, so like I said again, I'll open the discussion. I'll be taking questions afterwards. There's a question here on Instagram. Somebody said that, doctor, please, sometimes the phone number you people does not connect. Maybe you called after close of the day. The number we give out there is for the laboratory, and this laboratory, they close by 5 p.m. So if you call them at 6 o'clock or 1 a.m., they'll be sleeping. They will have gone home. So they open every day at 8:30 in the morning, weekday, and they close by 5 p.m. So if you want to get them tomorrow, call them at 8:30 before 5, okay, before they close at the ATG laboratories, okay? But they'll definitely, and they must take your call. We have 2 numbers you can reach us on for the laboratory. That is for the question. Lady Armstrong Dada asking on the Instagram. Tosin Balogun Adetunji is saying, you're asking for a friend. Baby born through IVF does normally have any abnormalities. A baby born through IVF, a baby born through normal conception or natural conception can have an abnormality, and they might not have abnormality. Getting pregnant through IVF does not significantly increase your risk of baby having any abnormality. Okay, thank you. That is for Tosin Balogun Adetunji. A question here. Let's see. Thank you, Elizabeth Gloria, for putting the links for the laboratories. If you need lab tests for infertility issues you're going through, just go to the ATG laboratories and all your infertility tests will be done there. Okay, and if you do your test at the ATG laboratories, I'm obliged to review your results. Once you do your test at the ATG laboratories, the lab manager Nike or Cynthia will give you the number to send your results to me, so I can look at them within 2 to 3 hours. So once you've done your test at the ATG laboratories, before you go, obviously they will give you a receipt and ask for the number to reach me with your results. And once they forward the results to you through WhatsApp, you can forward them to me, and then I'll go through them. There's a question here hanging here on Facebook. Somebody said that the abnormal scan is how much? It depends on different centers. Different centers have different costs for abnormal scan. Okay, I don't know where you are. I don't know your location, and even in the same state, you have about thousands of scan centers. Everybody will have their own price. Okay. When will your mainland IVF center be ready? Okay, that's for Luciano on Instagram. She's asking when our IVF center at ATG will be ready. It will be opened June, July. By June, we'll be reopened. And once we open around June, July, we'll announce to you here through our ATG Foundation, and you know that the lab is open for the IVF. But for all other fertility tests, you can get them done from tomorrow morning. Once we open work tomorrow morning, you can get your fertility test, your hormone profile, your husband's sperm count, your husband's sperm analysis, your full blood count, your kidney test. You check your kidneys, check your lungs, check your heart, your ECG, your liver function test, your thyroid hormone test. These are things that can affect infertility, so we can check all those at the lab tomorrow. So call the lab tomorrow and they'll get you sorted. Thank you, Elizabeth, for putting the link for the laboratory. So you're 22 weeks pregnant, you can still get a scan. If you're 22 weeks, you can still get a scan. Doctor, please, can you throw more light on Braxton Hicks contraction? And okay, so someone's asking a question about Braxton Hicks contraction. Okay, let me tell you the easiest way to understand what is Braxton Hicks contraction. Now, you're going for Olympics event. Every day you go and jog, you rest, you jog, you rest, you jog, you rest. Those joggings and practice is the Braxton Hicks contraction. The womb is getting ready for an event, which is labor. The womb will contract a bit, today stop. Contract a bit, stop. Contract, stop. Contract, stop. And after a while, it will start to contract very, very rapidly. And you know that something has caught you. That's the beginning of labor. So Braxton Hicks is the cousin or the junior brother of full labor. So Braxton Hicks is basically your womb getting ready for labor. Okay? It's very common for that to happen very, very infrequently from around 35 weeks onwards. They get stronger around 37 weeks to 39 weeks. Usually after 39 weeks, they get more intense and they will now become labor. So Braxton Hicks contraction, that is Braxton Hicks contraction. Is your womb getting ready for labor. Case closed. You can, someone's asking me whether there's any lab in Port Harcourt. There are labs everywhere in Nigeria. Labs everywhere in Nigeria. But ATG has only one lab, and that is in Lagos. We've not opened any lab yet in Abuja or Port Harcourt. We only have a lab in Lagos now, and it's on Lagos mainland. Once we open lab in Port Harcourt or Abuja or anywhere else, we will let you know. But ATG laboratory is only in Lagos, and we will send the address to you. Please, somebody, one of our moderators, can you share the ATG laboratories to the Instagram group here? There's a question on Instagram here. Somebody's asking, Doctor, is there any risk or problem for not having sex in pregnancy? You're 27 weeks, you've never had sex since you became pregnant. There's no problem. If you're pregnant, if you have sex, if you're not having sex, there's nothing wrong. The only time you're told not to have sex in pregnancy is if your placenta is too low, and there's a risk that it will bleed if you have sex. But if your placenta is not low in pregnancy, and there's no risk of bleeding in pregnancy if you have sex, there's nothing wrong in having sex. There's nothing wrong in not having sex, okay? Uzi, your period was delayed for 5 days, and on the same day, you saw colored discharge after urinating. And could you explain? It's probably the beginning of your period, okay? Uzi, that's the answer to that question. What causes cystic hygroma in a baby? That's what we are saying. Cystic hygroma is a swelling around the neck of the baby. These things can be detected on your anomaly scan. I've been preaching that ever since. But most people will not believe me because they say, what's wrong with the baby? I don't want to spend money. It's very important too, so you can plan and you know what you're getting into, okay? God bless you, Ginika Jane. Uzi, what is longest range for period? Usually most periods will be from 21 days to around 35 days, okay? Thank you. Doctor, what Does ovarian cyst hinder want to conceive? No. If you have a cyst, a simple ovarian cyst, in most cases, as far as there's no blockage in your tubes, as far as you're ovulating regularly, it does not stop you from getting pregnant, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you, Elizabeth, for putting up the link. God bless you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate you. So, Ifunanya Love, thank you for on Instagram. Please, what causes two opposite sex on a newborn baby? I don't understand that question, but I think what you're asking, Amara, is that the baby has the female gender and the male gender. Is very, very rare. It's an embryological abnormality. In most cases, we don't know what causes them, but sometimes these things do happen, and it's usually from some abnormalities in the chemical pathway. We call this production of steroids in the baby. Okay, and it can make the baby have prominent genitals of the male and the female, but it's very, very rare. Okay, we can correct them once they are born, but in some cases too, we leave them alone. But what we do is that once the baby is born, it's a lot of counseling to know which gender is prominent in the baby, and also which gender the baby is being assigned to psychologically. But that is an area done by the pediatrician and the psychologist and the psychiatrist. They deal with that. I can't deal with that on the screen here. But what causes it, we don't know entirely what causes babies to have both gender, but it's extremely rare. Is the abnormality test detected problem? Yeah. So some problems can be detected on the abnormality scan. Some problems detected cannot be corrected. I'll be honest with you. Some problems can be corrected. For example, we can detect problems in the brain. Those might not be able to be corrected. We might detect problems in the stomach. They can be corrected. We can detect problems in the palate. They can be corrected. We can detect maybe issues in the heart. They can be corrected. Some. So it depends on what we find. Some problems cannot be corrected. Some can be corrected. Okay. Doctor, you had your first baby through C-section. Your second one was stillbirth. Let me tell you something. Once you've had a C-section before, okay, you have increased risk of stillbirth. It's been known, documented everywhere in the world. That's why we only do C-section if only it's absolutely necessary. Don't do C-section except it's only absolutely necessary. Okay, so this lady, she's had a normal section, then she had a stillbirth, and the third one she had a C-section again. Now she's pregnant. She wants to have vaginal birth. No. If you have two C-section, just go and get C-section around 38 weeks. Okay, I beg you in the name of God, don't argue about this. If you have two C-sections already, the next delivery, I beg in the name of God, let it be a C-section. I beg you. Okay, there's no science again. There's no discussion. That's end of discussion. What causes one to see a cycle 14 days and again monthly cycle? It could be infection, it could be fibroid, it could be polyps. Okay, it could be abnormality on your cervix. Those can make you to see your period much earlier or bleeding much earlier than expected. Good evening, Wendy Adams. Can pregnant woman drink cold water? Pregnant woman can drink cold water. Pregnant woman can drink hot water. Pregnant woman can drink warm water. It's up to you. It does nothing wrong to anybody. Okay? Someone told you that some women don't ovulate monthly. It's possible. Women that do have what we call polycystic ovarian syndrome, they might not ovulate every month. That is true. Okay? And we can fix that. Women that have high level of prolactin, they might not ovulate every month. We can fix that. Women that have high level of or abnormality in their thyroid hormone, they might not ovulate every month. Yes, we can fix that. Okay? Good. Doctor, you had your second baby through C-section. You conceived at 18 months. Can you have normal delivery? So, if you've just James Olobo, just follow me. If you've had two C-sections before, the next delivery should be by C-section. Case closed. If you had one section, okay, and there's no problems currently, you've only had one section before, and there's no issue in this pregnancy, we can consider trying normal delivery. But if you've had two C-section, okay, and if you've had one C-section or so if you had two C-sections, C-section is the third one. If you had one C-section and one operation on your womb for fibroid, is C-section again. If you had only one C-section, no operation on your womb for fibroid before, you can try vaginal delivery. But if you've had two cuts on your tummy, whether C-section or fibroid, either one, whether one come before the other, please go for C-section. Okay? You've had one fibroid surgery, C-section, next one C-section. If you had one C-section, one fibroid surgery, next one C-section, okay? 2 cuts on your tummy, in any order, C-section, please. There's no argument about that. Please, you're a month pregnant, your period came yesterday. If you are pregnant and you are bleeding, it's not your period, it's threatened miscarriage. You're possibly miscarrying. If you're pregnant, you don't see bleeding, okay? Even my grandmother knows that, I beg you. Once you are pregnant, there's no bleeding. If most people that don't see their period and say they've missed their period though, the first thing anybody suspects anywhere in the world 4,000 years ago is like, this person is probably pregnant. If you're pregnant, you don't see bleeding, so stop it. Mba, you're pregnant, there's no bleeding. If you're bleeding, you're losing your baby. Case closed. Doctor, what is the cause of delayed period for a week? Maybe you're pregnant. Okay, good. Christabel Odochukwu Nade saying, you gave birth to your twins through C-section. Your monthly period has not been stable. What is the reason? Usually, if you had a C-section, for the first 1 to 3 months after your C-section, your periods may not be stable and it could be slightly heavier than usual. So give your body about 3 months after a C-section for your periods to re-regulate back again to normal. Joy Emmanuel, sometimes your belly looks smaller after waking up in the morning at 20 weeks. Is there a problem? No problem. Just get a scan. Christabel Udochukwu Nandi, I've answered your question already. Christabel Udochukwu Nandi, I've answered your question already. Tracy David, what causes ectopic pregnancy? Ectopic pregnancy can be caused by infection in your tubes. When you have infection in your tube before that was not treated, not properly treated, or not treated on time, it can cause damaged tubes. If you had infection in your tube repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, they cause cumulative damage to your tubes. If you had a surgery on your tubes before, if you had a previous ectopic pregnancy before, previous chlamydia, previous gonorrhea, okay, these things increase the risk of you having ectopic pregnancy. Doctor on Instagram, if Naya, what causes miscarriage 2 times in 1 year? It could be chromosomal problems in the baby, which may not be preventable. It could be problems with implantation, okay, that can be treated with aspirin. It could be blood pressure problems. It could be diabetes problem. It could be thyroid problems in pregnancy. These things can increase the risk of miscarriage. So we need to check all this to ensure you don't have any problem within you or with your husband that could be increasing the risk of miscarriage. Can surgery be done to unblock tubes? If you have a blocked tubes, okay, we can do surgery. But let me tell you the honest truth. Once a tube has been blocked, surgeries will even make it worse. That's the honest truth in the world. I won't lie to you. I won't kid you. Once a tube has been damaged and blocked, surgeries will probably make it worse because surgery will make it scar and cause further damage. The tubes are so delicate. So delicate. That is why, as women, you must always treat your vagina as an open wound and prevent any infection there. That is why when I see people putting different things in their vagina and all these things they call their names and stuff like that, you guys are risking PID. You guys are risking damage to your tubes. You guys are risking chances of knocking on my door for IVF. You guys are risking damage to your tube that you come and pay to ATG to do IVF. Okay, to prevent that is my work here. Don't put any stupid thing in your vagina. Vagina is not a cooking pot. Vagina is not a party cooking pot. A vagina is to be kept clean as a temple to you, and make sure you treat it as an open sore. Thank you. On Facebook here, your last period was 14th of March. Went into ovulation period. Use my app. Okay, go and download the ATG app and use it to calculate your ovulation. To calculate your ovulation, you must know how regular your periods are. Okay, is it every 28 days? Good. When was the last period? Those 2 days, go and punch it into an app on the phone, because I can't answer the question for you. I need to know how many days your menstrual cycle is, your menstrual cycle length. I need to do your last period. I know that one is 14th of March. So how am I going to calculate that when I don't know how your cycle length? That is, I need more information about that. So just go to an app on Google, punch in those numbers, your last period and how long your menstrual cycle is, and to give you a date. But if you can give me this information, maybe I can give you the answer that you want. Okay, good. What is implantation bleeding? Sometimes, imagine you want to plant a seed on the farm. You first of all dig the topsoil, you now put the seed, you now cover it. when you're digging that topsoil, the same thing too, when you're trying to get the pregnancy to move and to implant into the wall of the womb, there will be some pushing away of the wall of the womb as the pregnancy is digging in. Okay, it's digging in. That digging in of pregnancy in the wall of the womb will cause some tiny bleeding in your vagina. There you see like a very faint blood stain, or very pink, old, dry blood stain, usually around the time you're expecting your period. Okay, that is your implantation bleeding. Not everybody will have implantation bleeding. And to get pregnant, to have a good pregnancy, you don't have to have implantation bleeding. Okay? ATG app will be on iOS soon. We're getting ready. Sunday, Fatos, Mark. ATG app is going to be on iOS and going to be on Android soon. Trust me, we're getting there. We're working hard every day to get it ready. What causes watery sperm? There's nothing called watery sperm. It's either you have low sperm count or normal sperm count. Okay, all this is say watery sperm. There's nothing called watery sperm. You see, you can argue it from today to 20 years time. Okay, there's nothing in medical world called watery sperm. It's either your menses is your sperm count is good or it's not good. And how do we know? Go and do sperm count. Once we do sperm count, we'll count the sperm. We'll tell you what it is. Your sperm count, your sperm concentration, the morphology, and how they are swimming. And we're able to tell you that this sperm count is good or not. That's number one. Number two, no matter how long you, as a lady, you hang your leg in the ceiling after sex so that sperm won't come out, that does not make you pregnant or not. If the sperm is bad, if you hang your leg up for 3 days and you pray and fast and the sperm is bad, you don't get pregnant. It's not a cause, it's just science, please. But if the sperm count is good, even one drop on the vagina alone can get you pregnant with twins. So is the sperm, is it good or bad? So that one of watery sperm is a layman farmer language. In the medical world, is the sperm good or is the sperm bad? What do? We do sperm analysis and we know the answer. Chicken, that's it. Is it possible to ovulate and still have blocked tubes? Yes. You see, this is the ovary. This is the ovary. This is the tube. You can ovulate and it cannot move along the tube because the tube is blocked. The ovary will get stuck. The released air will get stuck in the tube. And because it can't find its way down, it will degenerate and it will go away. That's it. Kendio Okwara, let me tell you something. You're not giving me anything to help you with. To calculate ovulation, we need your last menstrual period and we need to know your menstrual cycle length. Is your cycle length every 28 days? Is it every 31 days? Is it every 27 days? Is it every 24 days? That's your answer. Just bring up any app on Google. Calculate my ovulation and put those two information there. You get your time of ovulation. Let us answer question because we've done that question and answer over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? Kehinde Olayemi, she wants to subscribe for ATG services. Just go through the information as given above here by Elizabeth or by Gloria. If you see, this thing we talk about here on ATG is free. We talk about it free of charge. But if you want one discussion with me, you have to go to the premium services. Okay, you have to go through the premium services. And we have different categories. We have the weekly consult, the 1 month consult, the gold, the diamond, and the platinum video consult. The weekly consult is only for a week. The monthly consult is only for a month, and the gold service is for a year. Okay, the diamond is for a year, but you get a phone call, and the video consult is also for a year, but you have a video face-to-face consultation. Okay, thank you everyone for listening to me today. I really appreciate you and hope to see you soon. God bless you. Kehinde Opara, I've given you your answer. You don't want to hear. I've told you already. We need your menstrual cycle length. Is it 28 days? Is it 31 days? That one, that's number one thing. Number two, your last menstrual period. Just punch it into your app or give it to me. I'll give you answer. But if you don't give it to me, I'm not magician. I'm not Babalawo. I give the answer based on information you're given to me. There's no sign of blocked tube. If your tubes are blocked, we will know that on HSG. But if you have blocked tubes, you increase your risk of having ectopic pregnancy. Sandy Fatos Mark, that is your answer to your question. There's no sign of any blocked tube. Nobody can know. through any form of thing for sign of blocked tube. The only way we know if someone has a blocked tube is to do a HSG or laparoscopy and dye test. That's the way we know if somebody has a blocked tube. But there's no physical sign on the tummy, on the face, or in the lab test that we know that somebody has a blocked tube or not. We have to do HSG, and we can do laparoscopy and dye test to check the tubes if they are blocked or not. Somebody said they did ectopic pregnancy surgery, and what's the next step to get pregnant? So next step, so if you did ectopic pregnancy surgery, that means that you've removed that particular tube, left or right, where the ectopic pregnancy was. As far as you have one good tube, as far as you're ovulating regularly, as far as there's no damage to your husband's sperm, as far as you're ovulating, okay, one tube gone does not make you infertile. It will only reduce your chance of getting pregnant to about 6-7%, that's all. So you still have a good chance of 2 in 3 chances of getting pregnant. And it doesn't matter if you ovulate from the left or right ovary, that tube that is okay, that is left behind, can pick up the egg from any tube, from any ovary that ovulates. Okay, very good. Thank you guys. God bless you. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back again on live shortly. Okay, thank you. Love you all. Bye bye.